Hello, today's date is September 4th, 2015. My name is Dan, and this video is a testimonial about scopolamine. I will preface by saying that what had happened to me happened a week ago, so there's still a lot of information that I have to get myself. So there's a lot of things I don't have the answers on, and so if you just bear with me. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've been very frantic trying to get more information on this, and I don't find a lot of English-speaking stuff on this. I've been assisted a lot through a lot of my Latino friends. I live in New York City, I live in Queens, and I've turned to them to shed light on a lot of stuff. Apparently the drug scopolamine is based out of the areas of Colombia and Ecuador. It seems to be more popular in Colombia, and a lot of South Americans seem to know more about this drug than most people, because I think they've heard stories from home, or they have known friends who have experienced stuff back there. So I'm going to talk about what happened to me, and I'm going to talk about what I did. So if you're someone who might have come into contact with this, we might have a shared experience. So like I said, today is September 4th, 2015. On August 28th, I believe, this is what happened to me. It was a Friday night. I decided to go out for a little bit. I wanted to have a couple drinks, and then I wanted to come home. I go to a bar, I have a Jack and Coke, I drink it. There wasn't a lot of activity in that bar that I was in, and so I left it. So I went to another bar in Jackson Heights, gay bar. Jackson Heights is very popular with, it's not popular with a Latino community. It's a lot of Latinos live there. There is a strong presence of Colombians, Mexicans, Dominicans. I'm just saying this is part of the background to the lay of the land where I was at. So I'm in this new bar now. I have a Jack and Coke. I drink it. There's only about 12 people in the bar. In fact, I was texting a friend of mine. I took some pictures inside the bar to kind of be a joke to myself and to my friend. Like, look, it's Friday night. I went out for a couple drinks. No one's around. I'm going to go home soon. And like I said, I didn't plan on staying out late at all anyway. So I go to order a second drink from the bar. I was also feeling the urge to go to the restroom. So I order the drink, I put it down, I put a napkin over it, I say to the bartender, I'm going to go to the restroom. This is rule number one. I've always carried my drink with me, even on the dance floor or even into a restroom. But I wanted to keep the bar stool, so I left my drink there and put the napkin on it. I guess when I've seen like Dateline NBC or something, and I see stories about people putting roofies in people's drinks, I've always had this sort of idea that it's been like a busy scenario. There's been a lot of commotion going on, something that gets someone distracted. I guess being in a bar where there wasn't a lot of people, I felt safe because I felt, I guess, like if anything was going to happen, someone would see something, right? So anyway, I went down to the restroom. I come back up. I remember sipping the drink, and then I remember waking up in my bed at 10 a.m. the next day. So that essentially is the experience of being on the drug. You don't know what happened. So what happens next? It's 10 a.m. the next day. I have to get to work. I'm freaking out because now I'm late to work. I'm frazzled. Like, what happened? What happened? How did I get home? I've never been in a situation like this before. So, as I'm in a taxi on my way to work, I look at my bank statement. Something tells me, look at your bank statement. So, I look at my bank statement and I see $100 withdrawn, $100 withdrawn, $100 withdrawn, some more transactions. What is this? I call the bank and I get timestamps for everything, and it was like one after every like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So now this is freaking me out. Like, hundreds of dollars have been extracted from my account. I have no memory of the evening. I have no memory of any of this. So I get to work. I'm a total mess. I totally break down. I feel my body is in trauma. I feel something really dark has happened. I leave work. I go to a clinic, and they do blood work. And backtrack for a second. First hospital I go to rejects me. I tell them I've had, I think I've been drugged last night. It's possible that I've been assaulted, and I've been robbed of money. And so the receptionist said, you know, show me your ID, your insurance. And so she said, we don't accept this insurance, and she gave me a list of different hospitals in the area. So I went to Callan Lord, and Callan Lord was great, even though they also did not accept my insurance, which is United Healthcare Community Plan. And keep in mind, I don't know when you're watching this video, maybe they're accepting them now. But they weren't accepting them at the time when I went in, and they said, even though we do not accept this insurance, it sounds like you've been a victim of something. We are going to try and assist you right here and right now. I wanted to get a toxicology screening. So they suggested that I go to Lenox Hill because Lenox Hill Hospital had some better tools at their disposal for doing a better toxicology screening. Before I get the toxicology screening, both Callan Lord and Lenox Hill tell me, do not get your hopes up on toxicology screenings. They're very general, and a lot of times after you've had your first urination, it's no longer detectable, whatever drug that you might have in you. Now, they say this isn't for all drugs, but they said for a good majority of roofies that are put in people's drinks, sometimes there is no detection whatsoever. I understood this. I still wanted the test because I needed to know something about that evening. The toxicology report came back, and it was tested, like I said, general test. Everything came up negative for cocaine, cannabis, barbiturates, amphetamines. Now, mind you, scopolamine is its own deal. From what I understand, it has certain compounds that are similar to cocaine, but you need to screen for scopolamine in order to find out if there's a positive or a negative. There was recently in Paris, France, and it was just like this week, there were some Chinese women who were busted for being part of some ring where they were having people smell like herbal extracts, saying it was like, you know, good for you or Chinese medicine, but one of them was actually the scopolamine. And so when people would go to smell that, then they would convince those people to let them go to their homes with them. They would go to their homes, and then they would just rob them right then and there. And the next day, the people would have no recollection of any of this. So the reason why I tell you this story is that one of the victims, they were able to prove that she was drugged with scopolamine because even though her urine sample came back negative and her blood sample came back negative, her hair follicle sample came back positive, and her hair follicle was taken out a month after the assault had happened. So what I'm saying is that if you are in a position where you believe that this drug had happened to you, I would demand that you get a hair follicle checked out. I personally am still working on trying to get my hair follicles checked out. I also have sheets with vomit in them, and I haven't washed them yet. I have a different set of sheets on my bed, but I haven't washed those sheets yet because I'm trying to get toxicology on this stuff. So I did that in terms of going to a hospital. I also, in terms of going to the hospital, I got PEP treatment. PEP treatment stands for post-exposure prophylactics. You take post-exposure prophylactics in case you might have come into contact with HIV. Now, I do not know if anything sexual had taken place. In my mind, no. Because there's certain things I think one would feel the next day. But I don't want to take any chances. So what you do is you get a 30-day supply of these drugs, Truvada and Icentris, and you take it for 30 days, and you're supposed to take it, I think it's actually 28 days, but they'll give you a prescription for 30 days, and you're supposed to take it within a 72-hour window period from when you believe that you were exposed. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, with a lot of health insurance these days, it's great. I'm so happy that I have health insurance, but there is so much mess with health insurance as well. I went to an emergency room and I get the prescription for these, but then my health insurer, which is United Healthcare Community Plan, they needed to get pre-approval from the doctor. What that essentially means is they want you to go to your primary care doctor to get pre-approval, which seems to me insane. You go to an emergency room, you see a doctor there, they give you a prescription, you go to the pharmacy to turn in that prescription, and then your health insurer denies the prescription because it wasn't written out by your approved primary care doctor, and your primary care doctor has to pre-approve it. So then essentially what you have to do, at least what I had to do in my situation, is and then I had to go the next day to my primary care doctor and essentially do everything all over again. And then apparently that still wasn't done right, and then I had to go back the next day. Essentially, I will just state this for the record out there. If the healthcare community decides that you have a 72-hour window period that you should be taking an essential drug that can help prevent the spread of HIV, for your healthcare provider to create all of these hurdles to get over. Oh man, that was exhausting, but I got him. I didn't get him within the 72 hours, but I got him pretty close enough, so I'm taking him. I also went to the police. Now, the police, at least right now in my case, they're going after grand larceny, and they're not going after me being like a special victims, because they have, the special victims unit. They're not pursuing that, because my toxicology report came back with everything being negative. And mind you, like I said, the nurses, when I did this test, they're like, a lot of times roofies do not show up. And so essentially the police officers that I dealt with were, you can bring in this aspect to your case. But when they go to classify a case, they're like, we're just going to classify this as grand larceny. So I'm having issues with this. I'm working on it because of I want to get my hair follicles tested. And you would think, hey, in New York City, they have everything there. There must be a lab somewhere around some corner. I mean, there's a Starbucks everywhere. There's an ATM machine everywhere. But it seems as if you're going to do laboratory work, you have to go out to other places to try and get it. And even recently in New York City, and this is all through the information that I have found this week, they have created a partnership with, I believe, the University of Chicago, the University of Chicago, that New York crime lab analysis can essentially be sort of sent to the University of Chicago. So even if I get something done with a hair follicle, it's probably most likely going to Chicago to be analyzed. And I really would love to have that opportunity, because when you get in a position like the one that I'm in, it's really all about, a certain amount of believability. Who wants to, if you Google right now, scopolamine, what basically comes up is stories about zombies, and so then, of course, a lot of the photo headings to these stories are people in evil masks, or, be some reference to voodoo. And, or you think of a Michael Jackson video, people like are foaming at the mouth, and, so I don't think that's necessarily fair for that's the way to try and get someone's attention in order to read an article about it. So essentially what I'm getting at is if you can get science on your side as quickly as possible, you're going to get someone to believe you much faster. And I thought that I could, get some results, but like I said, a lot of emergency rooms that you go to, they're going to have general stuff. And so if you're in the situation, by all means, start Googling the different labs that can specifically do hair follicle analysis for scopolamine. Because after you get that as, as a positive, then there's really no more work that you're going to have to do. All you're going to have to do is basically say to a police officer, a lawyer, a public advocate, a district attorney, is, I got positive for this, and this drug is evil. It has a history of basically only being in the hands of criminals. And so everything that you're worried about will end up becoming so much less worry. And so, the people I feel unfortunate for are the people that, who are victims of various different types of assaults, and they can't peg the person, they can't put a lot of things down, and this is one of those drugs where the whole entire benefit is it erases your memory, but yet you are still apparently awake, or it looks like you're awake. And so there can be video footage of you, and it looks like you are taking money out of the ATM, but what the video is not getting across is that you were told to take out that money. Or someone was standing next to you saying, tell me your PIN number, and then you're just giving it, and then they're like taking it out. I have even come into contact with a detective who doesn't believe me. And they said if they find that I am on any of the video footage, that they are going to arrest me for doing a false claim. So, I don't want that to deter anybody. You've got to be strong, and you've got to come forward, and science is going to be the best thing that's going to be on your side. So, I would say do the blood test, do the urine sample, realize that it might come out negative, but it sounds as if the hair follicle thing might have a little bit of a stronger resource to it. And even if that comes back negative, you need to turn to other people to get creative. It's upsetting when you hear stories about any victim who they never came forward because they just figured no one would believe them. I am this type of person that I'm like, look, I know what my truth is, and I know what my truth is, So I'll end it there with the video. If you got as far as this end, I thank you very much. I still have work to do. I still have a lot to figure out. I know I'm probably going to have a lot of hurdles along the way, but I needed to make this video. So somebody out there, if they've been in the same situation, maybe you have some ideas that you can pass my way as well. All right, thank you.